Seems like that's one of the hardest things to achieve. You can present a convincing Hitler or Stalin or a serial killer, but can you get people to actually see a humanity in that with which they could identify?
Well, if you're playing the villain, they have to see you as the bad guy, as the villain, and understand why villains are villains. You know, in a good performance, there's an insight into why the person is not a nice person, to put it very simply. I don't want to just play a bad guy, but I want the audience to see the whys and wherefores of why this person turned out to be a bad guy.
In a way that's universal.
Yes, that they get an insight into that. They see the workings of it's like a kid taking a clock apart to see what makes it tick. They see the inner workings of the motivation of that particular person.
The conditioning and the structure, to your earlier point.
Yeah, you know, Scrooge, you know, humbug, you know, and pay me my money or out into the snow, you know. And then all of a sudden Scrooge has an epiphany and becomes very, very generous. And
he's enlightened.
He's enlightened, right? Because he saw the folly of his ways. And we need to see Scrooge is, you know, lonely, unhappy, isolated. And so people who are isolated are trying to get more and more and more, which only isolates them, keeps building layers and layers. And the more isolated, the more they drive to get more, and so it becomes a vicious circle of isolation. And so meditation is a way to see into that without condemning it, without saying, oh, I shouldn't, or I should. That's not the issue. It's saying, oh, I see the fact that I'm Scrooge and I'm trying to get things. I see that. And if I see it clearly, obviously, it stops. It's like what we said earlier, the car gets to the end of the precipice, you're not going to continue to drive the car. You see the danger of something. Now the big question becomes, what is it that makes the person at that particular point in time see the danger of their greed?
Something beyond thought.
Yes. And what is it that's going to penetrate the greed of thought, the movement of thought that is greed? And our planet today is very greedy. What is it that makes for that epiphany, that moment, that it's seen, not just intellectually understood, oh yes, I can see how I'm in mankind is greedy, but no, to see it as danger to the point that it simply stops. Let's say I'm in a relationship and I want to control you because I don't want to lose you. You pleasure me in so many different ways. You feed my ego and I depend on you and all, you know, everything that's involved in a relationship. I get jealous and so I want to control you. I don't see that the controller is controlled, is the control.
Within a structure.
I'm being controlled by my desire to control you. So in a way, you're controlling me because I'm concerned with controlling you, so I'm being controlled by that very desire to control you. So if I see that, and then I ask myself, why do I want to control you? Well, I want power. And then the next question becomes, why do I need power? By controlling you, I feel powerful. I feel like I'm somebody. I'm an ego. I'm someone. And then I ask myself, why do I need to do that? And so on, and keep questioning. As you question, you see, you see the truth of it. And in seeing the truth, you see the danger. It's another way of saying it. You're liberated. I can no longer control you. Why would I need to control you?
And as the actor funny enough, you want to go back to playing that limited,
because
controlled.
because I understand the whole structure of it. So now I can really play it and expose that structure to an audience, and they really get an insight, excuse me, into that particular movement of human conditioning, which is limited.
There's kind of a beautiful flowing between, or confluence between, the meditation you're discussing and, as an actor, how I prepare, or how I establish for myself the character, it seems.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what we're talking about. The deeper that artist goes in terms of questioning themselves, and that's what we said earlier. It's not a how-to, step 1, step 2, step 3. That has its place for beginners because they need something to hold on to. It's like, when you first learn to roller skate, you may have 4 wheels, but then now they have the one wheel, whatever it is, yes. And so, or a bicycle, they have trainer wheels on it, and then you take them off and you learn how to balance just on the 2 wheels. So the how-to is really the ABC. It's, the sad thing is that it can convince an actor that they have technique, and then they will hold on to their technique, they will flaunt their technique, and behind it is really insecurity. Technique is used to free the actor, not to encage the actor. It's like,
what do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
I'm not sure.
In what way does technique free the actor? Because I think you're right. It seems like you use technique. One thinks you use technique to execute successfully some kind of program on stage, but that's not the case.
Technique is knowing what to do. That's all. We use the word technique, but today technique is something that I hold on to. So I want to be a bird in the sky, not a bird in the cage.